Good Friday morning, Geneseo. You're listening to WGRG 100.5 FM in Geneseo, and it's time for the September 7th. What day is it, Brandon? Oh, let me turn on your mic.
Oh, you can hear me now.
There you go.
It's September the 8th, Keith.
Thank you, Brandon. It's the September 8th edition of Let's Talk Geneseo, a conversation about things happening in our community. And as you just heard, we have Geneseo City Administrator Brandon Meglin with us. Of course, I'm Keith Kennett, and we have a special guest in studio this morning. And Brandon, we'll let you handle the introduction.
All right. Well, we want to thank Zach Sullivan, the Executive Director of the Geneseo Chamber of Commerce, for joining us this morning here. Zach and I get to see each other quite a bit because the Chamber is in City Hall. They're actually our tenant, so I get the pleasure to work with Zach on a lot of different events and on the Chamber board as well, and a lot of committees going on. He has a great enthusiasm for the community, and he's especially great at these events that we put on in Geneseo. The big one of the big ones, would you call it a milestone event each year in Geneseo?
Signature event.
A signature event. Milestone isn't the right word. Is this weekend. Well, it has already started. It's Trains, Planes, and Automobiles. So we wanted Zach to come in this morning, and we're going to let him run through the schedule to start, and then we'll probably pick your brain on some of the specifics from there.
Sure. Well, Brandon, thank you for the great introduction. Keith, thanks for having me on the air today. It's my first time on Let's Talk Geneseo, so congratulations to both of you for starting this project. I think it's a great resource for our community. The 17th annual Trains, Planes, and Automobiles Festival is happening this weekend, September 7th through 9th. As Brandon mentioned, it started yesterday with the Stearman Biplane Fly-In at the Gen Air Park. There were about 50 planes that showed up yesterday, and a good crowd. I know there were over 250 pork chops served. So that's a good crowd out there at the Gen Air Park, and they're great guys to work with. And then today we have the Cruise of Canal Tours. And so that's a golf cart tour that goes along the Hennepin Canal. We drive 6 miles one way, 6 miles back. So it's 12 miles round trip. We do it 3 times today. So it's the best day at the office at the Chamber as far as I'm concerned, because you're surrounded by the beauty and the splendor of the Hennepin Canal State Parkway, just north of Geneseo. And then tomorrow we have the big Trains, Planes, and Automobiles car show, which is hosted by the Maple City Cruisers. Lots of great things going on with that. We have the model railroaders, Geneseo Model Railroaders. They will be running their model train display. Plenty of events for the kids. We have lots of cool photo ops with model prop planes. We have the youth pedal car parade at 11 o'clock. And Keith and I work together on that, so I'm looking forward to that event. We also have the Salute to Veterans at noon. And so what that is it's the Salute to Veterans. We have the VFW walk down State Street, and they will do a 21-gun salute. Taps is performed, the National Anthem performance. But then during the National Anthem, there's an electrifying flyover that goes right through downtown Geneseo. If you've been there before, you know what I'm talking about. If you have not seen this before, you're missing out. Tomorrow, the weather's going to be perfect, and you're going to want to come see it, because I think we have 3 planes lined up for this year's flyover. So that's the most I remember since I've been here at the Chamber the last 4 years, and it should be great. We do awards at 2 o'clock, and then there will be new features like the Erie RC Model Plane Club will be coming to this event with lots of cool model planes. And they will be doing a jet turbine demonstration at 10 and 11. So, Brandon, I might be pushing the noise ordinance a little bit for this event, but it's all part of the show. And then we do awards at 2 o'clock. Following the awards, the show ends at 3, but we have the TPA after party at the Central Bank Pavilion from 3 to 6, and that will be featuring the tail fins. So it's a great event. There's plenty to do for the whole family. We have food trucks. And I'd be remiss if I didn't thank our sponsors for the event. Highland Toyota, JF Edwards Construction Company, Zimmerman Honda, Vibrant Credit Union. There's so many. Zimmerman Honda, Green Family Hyundai, Tyson, Fresh Meats, Central Bank, Illinois, of course. So many great businesses and organizations come in to support this, and we can't do it without our sponsors. So lots of great things happening in Geneseo. It's cool to see and to do this in Geneseo, right? I kind of say sometimes I have the best job in Geneseo because I get to do all the fun stuff. At City Hall, we're the fun department. You know, we get to run the parades and everything. So definitely looking forward to an awesome weekend in Geneseo.
Nice. Now, the after party at the Central Bank Pavilion, that's a new thing, isn't it?
Yeah, so we started that last year just as a way to keep people around. I mean, major props to Central Bank Illinois and that Central Bank Pavilion, because this has gone from a parking lot to a way to support small businesses during the pandemic that cannot host indoor dining to now it's a gathering spot and centrally located in downtown Geneseo. Lots of live music. There are private events there. There are fundraisers. And so, this started in 2020 with the Central Bank Pavilion. And last year we decided to add something a little extra to keep people in town a little longer and support some of our bars and restaurants in the area, as well as our downtown businesses and our stores. So the TPA After Party is what we coined it. Last year we had the Class of 82 play from 3 to 6, and this year it'll be the Tail Fins. But it's all an effort, I'd say, to keep the event fresh and to keep changing things up. Because 17 years. If we did the same thing every 17 years, we're going to see a decline, I think, in participation and in attendance. But I think that's our key to success with Geneseo events is that we take the traditional elements and we keep those, but then we keep adding something a little new. Some things work, some things not so much, but I really appreciate not only our committees, but the Chamber Board for allowing a little flexibility to try some new things. And I think we're onto a lot of good things lately here in Geneseo with our events, so it should be good.
Yeah, not to get too far off the path of TPA, but big shout out to Central Bank. And what folks probably noticed these past few months is that there is a little stage there now too, which was a new addition this year. And I believe Hanford Insurance Brad Toon put a lot of time and effort and resources into that, as well as Brett Decker and Central Bank, of course, to build that. And Geneseo Municipal Electric Department as well donated. The city kicked in on some labor and helped them with some electrical work and some of the lighting that's out there now, some of the upgrades. So, kind of just a neat example of people pulling together to keep things going down there.
Right. Well, and April Davis gets a shout out too, because she coordinates all the events that are down there. We kind of run things through her for approval so that we can do things at the pavilion. So definitely want to make sure we're giving her the shout out for all the hard work she does to make the pavilion a success.
Always leaving April out. Sorry, April, if you're listening.
Sorry. I got you.
Keith, are you going to be participating in TPA at all?
Well, and Zach mentioned it, but being a member of the Maple City Cruisers, I have volunteered to help out with the pedal car parade. So I'll be kind of helping with that. We don't really have necessarily a defined age group, just anyone of age that has any sort of pedal-operated vehicle. It could be just a traditional old pedal car. It could be a big wheel. It could be something just sit on, and they call them a ride-on toy. But anything pedal-powered is welcome at any age, and it's kind of a fun thing. We meet up in front of the museum about 10:45 at 11. Then it's basically just a parade or from the museum down to the stoplights. We try and get the kids' names and do a little introduction thing and this and that. I think we'll have Zach at the end with the checkered flag again, and have some ribbons for the participants. We try to make it a fun thing, but it also encourages the younger kids to maybe take a little bit of an extra interest in the automotive hobby and that sort of thing as well, because it's appropriate to all ages. But as with many things, if you look around, there's a bit more gray hair in the participants list. So we want to make sure we pass that torch on to the next generation.
Yeah. One of the other things that Zach does a great job of at the chamber is, and it's really a city initiative too, to from the city standpoint, to bring people into Geneseo to generate sales tax revenue, maybe look at Geneseo as a future place to live from the Quad Cities or surrounding areas. But I think it's kind of interesting. Zach and I were just talking about walking into the building this morning that there were actually two of the Quad Cities news organizations here this morning. Can you tell us a little bit how that went and came to be?
Yeah, and so needless to say, I was spinning probably about 5 plates this morning. Keeping track of the news here and there. I don't know if I can say the news stations, but
sure.
Yeah, WQAD, KWQC, they were both in Geneseo promoting the event. And then obviously with Let's Talk Geneseo this morning as well. And that's what we do, is we promote Geneseo. My goal as chamber director is to get Geneseo's name out there throughout the region to the point that people are dreaming it. Because then they're going to know Geneseo and then make a good impression, of course. It's one thing to spread the word, but what are you delivering? We deliver that small town experience, that Norman Rockwell looking downtown, fabulous stores with great store owners who are very friendly and welcoming to our guests in Geneseo. The city doing a great job to prioritize residential development and supporting commercial development. All the pieces are in place here. You know, we get a lot of questions at the chamber, like, what's Geneseo's secret? There's no silver bullet answer to that. It's that we have great people who are committed and dedicated to making Geneseo a great place to live, shop, dine, work, play, stay, develop. Lots of things you can add to that list. And so I'm really grateful to be a part of this community. I was born and raised in Geneseo. And so to get to do this from the chamber's perspective and see my hometown through the chamber lens, it's a real treat, and I don't take it for granted.
Yeah. Yeah, the other thing that I get the pleasure of working on with the Chamber of Commerce and the Chamber Board and committees is, which I think we'd be remiss not to mention, is the murals downtown. This is probably something that when people come out, if they only come out for TPA to Geneseo, they may be seeing for the first time this year if they haven't been to Geneseo in a while. But we have 3 brand new professionally painted and executed murals downtown Geneseo. One of them is still downtown, just past the historic district town on South State Street on the back of All in Stitches, yes. Then on the north side of Musical Memories, and then on the south side of the All Makes Furniture?
It's Geneseo Home Furnishings.
Geneseo Home Furnishings. I think I took a sidebar there to Moline or something, mm-hmm. Thinking All Makes. But 3 beautiful murals that people should check out when they're here, and there's information about those on the Geneseo Chamber's webpage as well if you wanted to learn more about the mural project. You have anything else to add about the murals? Or
Yeah, we have 2 more planned for 2024. We're doing some fundraising, so if anyone's interested in donating to the Geneseo Mural Project, get a hold of us at the Chamber. We'll be happy to work with you, mention you as a sponsor for the project. It's made possible because of generous contributions from businesses, organizations, and individuals in our community. Again, that's the answer. We have people who are dedicated to making this town a great place. So we have plans for 2 more murals. One, I think, is going to feature Harold Newman, aviation pioneer from Geneseo. And so we're going to pay tribute to Harold. And then we have another one that's kind of a general everything of Geneseo today, Isle of Flags, Richmond Hill Barn, Hennepin Canal, agriculture, music. You think of Geneseo, it's probably going to end up in white squirrels, right? We have all sorts of crazy squirrels in town. I couldn't believe that. When I moved back here from the Quad Cities, I lived in East Moline for 10 years. I never noticed how many squirrels were in Geneseo until I moved back. And I mean, I think there's more squirrels than people in this town, but you learn to live alongside them.
Yeah, we found that out this week. Went outside to some potted plants, and apparently this is the time of year where they start burying their nuts down in the dirt. And yeah, you see them foraging all over the place. And I mean, they'll even hide acorns or walnuts in like a little windowsill, just these little off places. So if you live in Geneseo, be warned, you got to learn how to live with squirrels, live alongside them in harmony. Yeah. Nice. Well, what are you personally looking forward to the most tomorrow during the meat and potatoes of the event?
Yeah, so probably the after party because I'm on the downhill slide. But no, it's a great day. We will be doing a 50-50 raffle for the Geneseo Chamber. And I want to encourage people to consider supporting that because it helps us with our community events and investing in one-time expenditures such as restroom feather flags, maybe some new signage that we need for the events, something that doesn't happen every year, but it's something to make it better. I mean, Geneseo has been trending up. And our events have certainly been trending up over the years. So we want to add more resources, I'd say, to make the events look more professionally presented, more polished, and it's easier to find your way around with new signage. So I also am looking forward to the salute to veterans. I just think that flyover is, it gets you. It's an emotional moment. Especially after the pandemic. I remember that one particularly. That one, I think everyone was just happy to be back together and to do this first car show since the pandemic. And so I'd say between the after party and the flyover, those are probably the 2 parts I'm looking forward to.
Is it the Geneseo VFW that does the colors out there for that?
Yeah, the Honor Guard will march from the cellar to the downtown intersection at State and First, and then they do the 21-gun salute, and we have all that confirmed. They're great to work with. I know they help with the cookout at Thrill in the Hill fireworks, and then they also help out in our parades. We always have them go right behind the lead squad car in all of our parades. We saluting veterans. It's important to me as an individual, but also as the chamber. We embrace that. Another example of that, I'd say, is the Tie Yellow Ribbon initiative we've done since the pandemic, which we tie yellow ribbon around every tree up at the city park. And, thanks to the city for allowing us to do that. But during the pandemic, the aisle flags didn't go up, I think because of bad weather on Veterans Day. So those yellow ribbons, represented by the Geneseo business community, were the only tribute to veterans that year. So that was actually an idea that I brought home from my college. A group of us started that at University of Illinois Springfield, and we did like 400 trees at University of Illinois Springfield. And so I brought that back here when we were trying to figure things out during the pandemic, and it stuck. So that's just another thing that we work with the VFW on. Great local organization.
Yeah. Nice.
Okay, well, a lot of good information there, Zach. We know you're a busy person and we have a lot to get going to, so we appreciate you taking the time to come in, and I'm pretty sure we'll be roping you in to come back and be a guest on some future program as well. And as I've always said, certain people, you can just look at them and say, wow, they are doing they are in a career that they were absolutely made for, and you definitely fit the bill for that, Zach, and appreciate all you do for our community.
Yeah, likewise. Thank you to both of you for creating this show. This is a great resource, and for your support of Geneseo, your leadership. Geneseo is a great town to live in, and I'm here to show people why.
Yeah. But we are going to invite Zach to stick around. If you're watching it live on Channel 50, though, you may see him split out of here because he has other things to get to at the TPA event. But feel free to stick around as long as you can and chime in on these other topics that we're going to touch on today.
Yeah, I can do probably about 5 or 6 more minutes.
Yeah.
So.
All right, good. And a shout out to Kim for sending me a quick text. So we were having a little technical difficulties on the video side.
Oh.
I think that's been resolved. So we know at least Kim's listening this morning. So that's
There's thousands of people listening, Keith.
I'm sure that's what it is. But one thing I know, we're going to get to what's things coming up in city-wise with Cleanup Week, and there's a lot of things to touch on. But I do have a little bit of good news in that we have 2 intro not prototypes, but demos to select from.
Oh,
so maybe a little bit later on, we can play them both, and can just share your input. It'll kind of give us a little bit of a sense of what direction we'd like to go as we finalize that. So
talk about making things professional, Zach.
I like
introduction music to the show.
I'll tell you one. Not to put a hook out there, but you're probably going to want to stick around because I think I don't know. I think they're pretty impressive.
Nice.
So
looking forward to it.
But anyway, we have Cleanup Week. We have the 9/11 Stair Climb Memorial coming up tomorrow morning. A lot of things coming up. And so, Brandon, I'll maybe let you start down the list.
Yeah, absolutely. So some of the updates of need-to-know things. Wanted to mention that today the police department is going to be testing the outdoor siren. That is at 10 o'clock this morning. So if you hear the test at 10 a.m., it is just a test. Wanted to mention that initially the city was not going to have a tent at the TPA event tomorrow, but I guess the PD is going to set up the city tent tomorrow to have a station for officers to take water breaks and say hello to folks. Our friends at Inspire Continuing Care are also going to set up under that tent, and they're a great local nonprofit organization. We partnered with them to create 2024 Geneseo calendars that they were able to participate in designing, have some great photos of donated from local photographers sharing their images to be inside of this calendar. They're selling that. All of the proceeds go to Inspire. So if you're out and about at the event tomorrow, Zach will point you towards Inspire and pick up yourself a calendar. Say hi to the police officers under the tent, too. Other things to mention, Keith brought up the 9/11 stair climb. That is taking place tomorrow morning. So go and get your blood flowing here at the high school.
Starts at 7
to 11 a.m. They're going to have T-shirts, I believe. They have a raffle going. They accept donations there. That's put on by the Geneseo Fire District. So,
and would strongly encourage everyone participate no matter what your level of physical activity may be. There certainly are many that participate actually walking up and down the football stadium stairs, and quite honestly, that in and of itself, when you're just doing it without wearing anything, it's just going up, not that many stairs, but you quickly learn to appreciate what it would have been like for those firefighters and others. Just doing that task on that horrible morning back then, but it's a good way to show a remembrance. But a lot of people just walking around the track and just being together. And so yeah, it's one of those things that's pretty special. But just want to point it out because you'd want to participate if you can.
You have time to do that tomorrow morning, don't you, Zach?
Unfortunately, I don't. We help promote it, and I appreciate the Geneseo Firefighters Association for putting this on, helping to raise money for victims of 9/11. Obviously, horrible day, and I think it's meaningful. A couple years ago, I think for the 20-year anniversary of 9/11, we actually asked the firefighters to walk with the VFW down for the salute to veterans at trains, planes, and automobiles, just to salute and say thank you also to our firefighters. They work hard locally, keep us safe. They deal with unpleasant situations a lot, and they are so very appreciated by everyone in the community. I'm not just saying that on my behalf. I know everyone in Geneseo sees what they do and they appreciate it. And so I want to encourage everyone, before you come out to the car show, stop out at the 9/11 Memorial Stair Climb and support this great initiative.
Yeah. Yeah. Other things coming up this Tuesday, 9/12, we do have a city council meeting. Encourage citizens to come out, participate in your local government. Fall cleanup is 9/18 through 9/21, coming up quick here. We have, Chamber really promotes and selects the garage sale, the citywide garage sales now. That is before fall cleanup, right?
Yeah, we schedule our citywide garage sales around the cleanup, so that way they happen a little bit beforehand, and anything you don't sell, you can get rid of with the cleanup. But a few years ago, this wasn't being organized. It's just a little something that helps the chamber out and helps coordinate this. Obviously, it's a popular thing. We get a lot of questions about it. And you know what? It's drumming up commerce in people's garages. So we're accomplishing our mission that way.
Is it the 16th?
The 14th through the 16th.
14th through the 16th.
Yes.
Okay. All right. Yep. So that weekend right before cleanup. So have your garage sale and then get rid of some of the items that didn't sell on your curb. We also have E-Waste Day coming up on September the 23rd. That's a Saturday. New location at the street department rather than the City Hall parking lot. Do encourage anybody that has e-waste or thinking about coming, please check out City's Facebook page or website for a list of things we accept and things we do not accept. There are some changes there this year. We're partnering with a nonprofit organization called PCs for People that has a mission to refurbish computers and other electronics that folks may be able to use who can't afford to purchase them. So check that out. Check out the list before you come down, but should be smoother rather than trying to wrap people onto Oakwood Avenue or down to State Street. We're going to have a nice line coming in south of the street department building, starting around Chestnut Street in Chicago. There'll be a nice coned off straight line area there, so it should go pretty smooth. Last thing I had to mention was 925 through 929 is fire hydrant flushing. That is an important process. It's actually a process that's required by the EPA for us to maintain the water system. It does help flush out some of those mineral deposits and things that are in the system and in the lines. We've talked on some of the previous episodes about discolored water. This is a required process that aids in flushing out some of that stuff that causes discoloration as well. So, again, check city social media, city website for when your quadrant of town is having the flushing done to get more specifics about when you're going to see the water department out there doing that. So.
And we go through a lot of information here, but this is also all available on the City of Geneseo website. If you'd like further detail, or you always feel free to call City Hall or send an email or whatever works best for you. Because yard waste also is something we probably should touch on. On Saturdays from 8 a.m. to 12. That's where you can head out to the Prairie Park burn pile. If you have items to yard waste items to dispose of, you can do it then. They're open most Saturday mornings, but not all. So that would be something too you want to just double check on the website. And we also do include with the utility bill. There's usually a flyer or something as part of that, which would also cover this information as well. We try to do what we can to communicate this as best as possible. But there's a lot of avenues of communication these days. So, but the best source, though, would always be the city website. We obviously keep that up to date, and also the Facebook page and as well.
Yeah, and last resort, some folks don't like using the website, don't like using social media. Just give us a call at City Hall. We have a great staff there, a utility and admin team at the front that would be happy to answer any questions or check some of these dates for you. City Hall is 944-6419. So just give us a buzz, 8 to 4 anytime if you have any questions on anything. Or as we've been mentioning, too, if you have any suggestions for future episodes of this show, you can give us a call. Give me a call at City Hall, let me know, or shoot me an email about it.
And that email again, Brandon?
It is bmeglin@cityofgeneseo.com. That's BMAEGLIN at cityofgeneseo.com.
And if you don't want to remember that, you can also just send an email to, I think it's City Geneseo. Pretty sure it's, let me double check. Yes, it is City Geneseo at cityofgeneseo.com.
There you go.
So there you go. All right, Brandon, we have 2 intros. You want to hear them?
Let's do it.
See what you think? Okay.
This is a surprise, by the way. We didn't.
Well-
I didn't know this was coming.
Well, yeah. Well, we'll see. So this is just, we'll see what you think about this one.
All right.
This is Let's Talk Geneseo, an informal conversation about what's happening in our community with Geneseo City Administrator Brandon Meglin and Geneseo Alderman Keith Kennett. If you have any questions or comments for Let's Talk Geneseo, please email Brandon Meglin at bmeglin@cityofgeneseo.com. That's BMAEGLIN at cityofgeneseo.com. And now, here's Brandon and Keith.
Nice.
Yeah, so that's a little something there.
Yeah.
Okay.
Now, is that you?
That
your voice?
actually is me.
Yeah.
You know, we're trying to work within a budget of nothing. And
Little echo effect in there?
So yeah, you know. It's the,
Auto-tune? Is that what we call that?
it's the little things, Brandon, that make the difference.
Yeah.
But the other one, then we have a second one
Sure.
here that we put together. This one's it's a little different. Actually, I found it online, but there is from as near as I could tell, I think it's like a middle school, actually located just outside New Delhi. But, you do everything on the internet now. But they have an AI program at the school. And so you send them information. I sent them a copy of the program. Then they just create something that they felt was appropriate based on the information I sent them. So we can take a listen to that one.
Yeah.
This is WGRG FM, where we meet the absolute minimum FCC standards for radio broadcasting. It's time to hang on and brace yourself for a community radio program that's frankly indescribable. Let's Talk Geneseo. 2 guys with nothing better to do on a Friday morning but talk about our community. Geneseo City Administrator Brandon Meglin and Alderman Keith Kennett. And yeah, nobody puts the blah and blah, blah, blah like they do.
So they went a little different direction with it. And I don't know, that one might be a little bit too edgy, but hey, shout out to the class there.
Yeah.
And coming up with that one. So these are kind of the directions we're going. We'll probably the first one might be a little bit more appropriate, but work in progress.
Yeah.
And so maybe next week we have a theme, maybe we don't, but we definitely are working on it.
Yeah.
As
Those are great.
to the limits of our abilities.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't know if number 2 is too edgy. I think that's it's a good ear catcher out there on Friday mornings.
Well, with AI, I mean, it's just taking the facts that it has known and create something. So something
Nice.
like that. So, all right. Well, I think we're getting close to 8:00, and that's usually when we do try to wrap things up. Brandon, always a pleasure. Remind everyone too again, City Council meeting this Tuesday at 6. If you're unable to make it, which 99.99999% of the population, that's usually the case. But we stream it on YouTube live.
Yeah.
And I believe we also archive them if you want to go back and check them out. And so just want to promote that as well.
It's a good note. This program as well now is being archived on the city's YouTube channel, as well as the live streams, like Keith mentioned, of the city council meetings on there. If you want to check out past episodes of Let's Talk Geneseo, on our main page, City of Geneseo YouTube, you will see a button called Playlists, and that program is, there's 2 past episodes, soon to be 3 on there as well.
There you go. And not to put you on the spot, Brandon, violating radio rule, but next week's program, and anything to share, or we know for sure at least the 2 of us will be here?
We do. I do have a tentative commitment from the mayor of Geneseo, Sean Johnson, to join us next week. Plan is to talk a little bit about service and elected official roles, and let Sean talk about his role in the community a little bit. Should be a good time. He's tentatively planning on being here.
Understand that, and he can firsthand experience the program he green-lighted. It could now be part of it as well, but it'd be great if it works out to have Sean in here. Yeah. Okay, well, for Brandon Meglin, City Administrator, I'm Keith Kennett. We very much thank you for tuning in, and we will talk to you next Friday morning. Have a good week.
Have a great weekend.